Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to this preparatory workshop for MECAT. Yes, Media Creative Aptitude Test, which is being very, very popular nowadays, and especially for the students who are actually looking for admissions in the upcoming session. Yes, now 12th class students are waiting to get admission in their favorite institution, and MECAT is there to support you. Also, to get the maximum benefit of MCAT, Media and Entertainment Skills Council, via their program, Creative Warriors, are making you prepare for this workshop with the assessment for via workshops. So today's special workshop is on gaming. It's Introduction to Unreal Engine, and it's with FX School. FX School, as you all are aware, it's a premium institution of media and entertainment. And today we have Mr. Mazdiar Santoke, who has many years of experience as a VFX artist with leading production houses such as Prime Focus, Eyecube, Reliance Media Works. The Hindi feature films he has worked on include Guru, Shootout at Lokhandwala, Welcome, Chandni Chowk to China, Love Story 2050, and Blue. He has also worked in major Hollywood films such as Tron Legacy, Moby Dick, 28 Weeks Later, and Agent Crush. In addition, he has worked on many international TV serials. His key strengths are big preparation of compositing CG with live action footage. He's an avid gamer and teaches VFX and game development with Unreal Engine. So let's welcome Mr. Santoke here.
Hi, Pooja. Hi. Thank you so much for that great introduction. And my name is Mazdiar, and let me start off by saying that it's a matter of great honor and privilege for everyone, us here at FX School, to take this seminar on behalf of MESC. And as you said, today's workshop is actually on gaming. And that's one of my passions. It has always been my passion since I was a kid. Even right now, believe me, after this workshop, I'm just gonna go home and just play a nice little game, like a multiplayer shootout to just calm my nerves, because I'm a bit nervous right now. And yeah, so I'm here to talk about Unreal Engine, and also here to give you guys an insight and an introduction to what Unreal Engine is capable of. And without further ado, let me just quickly share a slide that I've prepared for Unreal Engine, which will give you guys an insight and at least an introduction to what the engine is and what it can do. All right, and it's basically here to change the way we work in this field. Okay, it's even though it's just a game engine, but it's being used a lot in virtual production as well. It's used a lot for as a visual effects tool for movies and serials and stuff like that. One very famous TV series which is there on I think Hotstar, called Mandalorian, is the one which actually uses Unreal Engine in its VFX production pipeline. All right, so yeah, so enough of talk. Let's just see something really cool. I'm going to start sharing my screen here. Can I do that, Pooja, right now?
Yes, its session is all over to you, and you have the right to choose.
Great. Share it. Is my slide visible?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what is Unreal Engine? Well, just to give you a brief intro, Unreal Engine is a game engine developed by Epic Games, and it first showcased in the 1998 first-person shooter game called Unreal. All right, and this is for the ones, I'm sure all of you over here know what a first-person shooter is, but for a few who kind of are not quite aware of these gaming terms, it's basically a game where you only see the gun. So imagine seeing a world from your perspective, like a first-person perspective. That's a first-person shooter. That's what a first-person shooter is. And this is the very first game that was made in Unreal back in 1998. And initially developed for PC first-person shooters, it has since been used in a variety of games, a variety of 3D games like FORTNITE, like PUBG. I'm sure almost all of you guys must have played this game. And lately, it's also being used in the film and television industry. As I said earlier, it's being used as a virtual production pipeline for the series Mandalorian. And it's written in C++, so that's a programming language, all right? And it features a high degree of portability, supporting a wide range of desktop, mobile, console, which is Xbox, PlayStation, virtual and augmented reality platforms. So if you make a game in Unreal Engine, you can port it on PC, onto mobile, onto consoles, and also virtual reality and augmented reality platforms like, Oculus Rift or HTC Vive. And in March 2015, this is my favorite slide out of all of these. Epic released the UE4, that's Unreal Engine 4, along with all the features and future updates absolutely free. All right, it's absolutely free for whoever wants to start downloading it and start using it. And lately, very recently, they have released Unreal Engine 5 on May 13, which was revealed on May 13, and it's released on May 26th, 2021. And it supports all the next-gen consoles, all the next-gen PlayStation 5s and Xbox Series. And this is how some of the in-game content looks like in UE5. All right, it's mind-boggling. I mean, it's kind of thinning the reality. It's thinning the line between what's reality and what's not. So it's one of the softwares of the future, I call it, which is currently available to us. And all you need to do to start using UE is create a free Epic Games account. This can be done by downloading the Epic Games launcher from the following website. And it'll take you onto this website. All you have to do is download the Epic launcher, make a free account, and start using Unreal Engine. And that's about it. All right. So now, having shown you guys, or having given you guys a brief intro about what Unreal Engine is and what it's being used for in the industry now, let us quickly see a few things that have been made in Unreal Engine. I'm going to start showing you a demo reel. So this is a game reel. So all the games that you're seeing over here are being made using Unreal Engine. Mostly, I would say 99% Unreal Engine 4, because UE5 is still not available for production. Even though people have started, doing some really awesome stuff. You can check out a lot of YouTube videos where people have experimented a lot on UE5. But this is predominantly UE4 stuff, Unreal Engine 4 version stuff. And after that, I'll also play you guys a reel where you will see how Unreal Engine is being used for virtual production, right? And again, virtual production means it's being used for movies, okay, for movies and serials and not just games, all right? Cool, Pooja, all good? All right, I'm going to take that as a yes. All right, so I'm going to start off the demo of the game, the games that are being made in UE4. Am I audible, Pooja?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah, okay. All right. Is the sound of the video audible as well? Okay, I'm going to take that as a yes again. All right. So awesome games. Many of them which are yet to be released. Many of them have already been released. And one little thing I would like to focus on is Unreal Engine is, you might have seen in this particular video, a lot of animation, a lot of, people running and doing stuff like that. So what happens in Unreal Engine is Unreal Engine is a software where, you bring in all these assets from other softwares where you do animation. It could be softwares like, Maya, Blender, where you actually animate and you actually model the characters, and then you bring them as assets in Unreal Engine. You set them up, you light them, you add your materials and stuff to that. So Unreal Engine is not like a software like Maya where you can actually model stuff, or you can actually animate the characters. You can tweak the animations, but it's definitely more conducive to actually animate a character for a cutscene, in a software like Maya, and then you kind of bring it in inside of Unreal Engine, and you set it up inside of Unreal Engine in the world, adding materials to it, adding lighting to it, and just making it look awesome. Right? Just wanted to bring that to your attention. And now, having said that, let me also show you the production sizzle reel. All right, a reel in which you get an idea of how Unreal is being used in virtual production. All right, so
we were really one of the early adopters for virtual production here in the Southeast, and we got excited about the technology.
So I'm sorry. So this is what I like to do sometimes when I'm showing reels, to my students while I'm teaching. So you can see over here, what's happening is there is a bit of, you can see this is like a mixed reality where they have actually added a bit of grass and, probably something on the ground as well. And they also have a similar looking scene where there is grass and with this ground behind, which is, so whatever is being created over here is being created real time on the sets in Unreal Engine. All right. So that's like a revolution which has begun. Okay. So gone are the days where the dependency will be on green screen or blue screens, where the person, will have to remove the green screen or remove the blue screen and then composite. Now things are happening virtually on the sets. Hence, this is known as virtual production. All right. Let's continue.
Because of the future of what it can be.
Ce que permet ce nouvel outil, c'est de donner de nouveaux moyens créatifs aux clients afin de pouvoir projeter leur production dans des univers qui jusqu'à présent étaient inatteignables en live.
Also das ist natürlich beeindruckend, was man hier sehen kann. Das ist, ich würde sagen.
So this is, guys, this is the actual LED panel on which at this very moment, a person is sitting on a machine somewhere back here, and he is creating this background right now virtually in Unreal Engine. And you can see that this is a live action set on which, they have kind of, as I always say when I'm teaching VFX, is the best way to shoot for VFX is always have some of the real. So if you're shooting, say in a studio, in a green screen studio or a production house or a place where you have green screens and blue screens, you always need to have a bit of that real world element in there with your actor. So right now he's sitting, his hand is resting on a rock. So you get that actual, lighting and actual shadows falling on the character as well as it falling on the rock. And then the background can be, it's limitless. Now with Unreal Engine, right there on the set, the director can just come in and say, just tweak this a bit, make this slightly more greener, take this mountain and push it on top a bit, and that's how things will happen quickly and more efficiently, and without any corrections. All right, so let's continue.
Die Perfektionierung der Zukunft, diesem Know-how und dieser Digitalisierungsvariante ist das einfach ein neues Drehen.
Que no final da diária você acaba saindo, possivelmente, com um material praticamente finalizado, onde você não precisa consertar nada.
We're only scraping the surface of what this technology can do. The benefits are countless. And the day will finally come when we all will say, green screen, your services are no longer required.
That's what I said, right? So you will, I mean, it's still in the development stage. I would say it's not. I mean, it's being used, but not. Still, green screen and blue screen is, you know, in more demand, and it's being used more. But once people start becoming aware of this, once people start knowing about this, there'll be more and more production houses and, you know, supervisors and artists who would love to work in a setup like this, rather than, you know, like a green screen or a blue screen setup.
Studios is a Spanish-based company specialized in an integral solution for filmmaking.
My name is Alex Stuckey, and I'm a single frame figure in Milan, Italy, and Shootout.
You can see how many people and how many production houses have started actually using this already. And in the near future, we'll see this happen pretty soon in India as well. Great. So I guess now you guys have a bit of an idea or at least an inkling of what Unreal Engine is capable of, and what and how it's being used in the industry right now, whether it be in the gaming industry or in virtual production. Now let us go into the software and explore it a bit. All right. I have opened up a pre-made project inside Unreal, and whenever we are talking about a game engine, we are talking about real time. All right, like things are happening real time. So just a quick bit of intro: real time and rendered output. So whenever you see a movie, whether it be Avengers or Spider-Man or Wonder Woman, whatever you're seeing on your TV screens or in the theaters is rendered out. Okay, it's rendered out, and then it is being projected on your theater screens. But in a game engine, nothing is done previously. Nothing is rendered out previously. Rendered means, you know, like it's finalized. It's there. It's done. Now you can see it on your TVs, on your theaters, on your theater screens, on your phones, right? But when you're talking about game engines, okay, you're talking about real time, because whenever you're inside a game, you need to, you know, see the light changing in real time, see the shadows moving in real time if the light is changing, see the colors change in real time. If there is something which is like a light changes color, you need to see all of that happening in real time. And Unreal Engine is one of, I would say, one of the best engines where real-time rendering is, you know, optimized to its core. All right. So now if I quickly just hit the play button. 11. This is my character. So right now I'm controlling my character. And as you can see, if I move away from the waterfall, now I can't hear the waterfall. So what's happening is I have a sound element inside of my scene. And that sound element, I'll show you those elements once I come out of this thing. And that sound element is making me hear those sounds when my character is near that sound space. And that's how you can hear the sound. Now I don't hear the waterfall. Now I start hearing the water droplets. Because over here, water droplets coming. So over here there are a few water droplets dropping in, and as you can see over here, I purposely have kind of changed the light to a very unnatural looking color, and the reason I've done this is so that you guys can understand how real-time rendering is working. So what's happening right now on my screen is when my character goes within this area, you can see that the light on him is automatically reacting with his body, okay? With his materials and with him, you can say. All right. So this is happening because we are right now in a real-time rendering software or a game engine, right? So if this was, say, like another software where you don't have real-time rendering, in order for me to see this, I would have to render it out. I would have to process it, okay? And that processing is what that takes time. Okay? One of the key factors that takes a lot of time, all right? But what's happening over here, as you can see, real time, all right? I come over here and my the color of the character or the light, sorry, not the color, the light falling on the character changes real time. Okay? It updates real time, right? And this is happening because one of the reasons it's happening is because the material system in Unreal Engine is based on PBR, physical based rendering. Okay, so just a quick little insight on that. It means that whatever material and whatever texture that you apply to the characters based on the light, it automatically will update. So the material automatically updates itself on the basis of the light color, the light intensity, etc. Right? So that's physical based rendering. That's the material system that is being used in Unreal Engine. All right. Okay. So let me come out of this and let me turn off full screen and take you guys here, all right next to this character of ours, all right. All right. So now this in fact is my first person player character. I've just duplicated it, and I'll quickly show you what that physical based rendering I meant was. It means that now if, say for example, I want to change the color of the material, okay, of this character's body material, I can come over here, give it a really quick little change. Okay, let me kind of make it slightly more bluer. And you can see it happening over here, real time. And close that. Now, if I take him, okay, take the character out of this light and over here, it automatically becomes, in shadows. It looks as if, he's moved away from the light. Okay, and if he comes over here, there's adequate amount of light falling on him, like how this light is falling on these elements. And if I again move him over here, you can see how this happens real time. All right. So this is what real time rendering is. All right. So whatever changes I make in my game engine, they will happen instantaneously. All right. And obviously there are quite a few things which require processing. All right. But I wouldn't want to go into those right now because my main focus over here is real time rendering. And also, apart from the color of the material and how it changes when I take him into lesser light and it automatically updates. One really awesome little thing that also happens along with this is if I come over here and quickly type sun, which is my main source of light, and you can see over here, this is the reason why this light has become kind of a magenta-ish color, right? And now if I increase the intensity of the light, you can see it also happen on the character again, real time, instantaneously. All right. And if I reduce the light, okay, the character becomes darker as the light reduces. All right. And also, if I would want to change the color of the light, let us make the light pretty neutral. And you can see that magenta tinge from the character is also gone away. Also, obviously, it's also gone away from the entire environment as well. And this is what real-time rendering is. This is what's the power of the Unreal Engine, and this is why people are using it in virtual production as well, because things happen real time, things happen instantaneously. All right. And one again really neat little thing that I'll do is I'm going to bring this fire element inside my scene. And I'm going to take my character slightly closer to the fire element. I'm going to increase the scale of the fire. Okay. And also rotate it like this. Okay, slightly, so it kind of is more pronounced. Now, if you come over here and look at the character, you can see the influence of the fire on the character again. How? Real time. All right. So this is what happens in a game engine. Things happen real time, and obviously you need like the more powerful the hardware, the more quicker all these things will happen. So if you're planning to download Unreal Engine and start learning it or start using it, you need to have a fairly new generation machines. So at least I would say a 1060 graphic card, and at least 16 gigs of RAM, at least, and now this is again minimum, okay? Like this is the bare minimum, i5 7 or i7 7 rather now, all right? And so these are the specs that you will need to have to run Unreal Engine without any glitches. And also if you have a really fast hard drive where you've actually installed the software like an SSD or an NVMe M.2, that would also, process the software much faster, because it's in a drive where things happen pretty fast. So it requires juice. Your machine needs to have that capability of supporting what the software is capable of to kind of to suck out all the performance from Unreal Engine. But even though I mean, even if you have a fairly decent rig like what I just mentioned right now, even that is enough for you to at least see these things without hassles. Now, if you add in more and more particle elements, more and more elements which have real-time lighting, which update the materials, then obviously it will start getting slower and slower, right? So that's a brief insight into the design aspect of Unreal Engine and how things happen in real time. Right, we saw how the materials got updated, how the light, is, or how the material automatically takes the influence of the light and updates itself. How the change in the light color and the light intensity affected the material instantaneously. We didn't have to process it. We didn't have to wait for it to render and then see the final output. Everything happened real time. All right. So now, having shown you guys this much. And by the way, this what I'm showing you right now, it falls into the design aspect of Unreal, right? So if you just look at Unreal Engine right now from a perspective of making a game, you basically, very broadly speaking, do two things in a game, right? You build the world, you design the world, and second, you build the interactivity in the world, or you can say, in other words, you are doing scripting, so that when a person, when the player, by a person I mean the player who's playing the game, if he presses W, the character moves forward. If he presses S, moves backwards. Presses jump, presses spacebar, he'll jump. All right. So that is a part of any game engine where you script functionality. Okay, and that's programming. That's the programming bit. Okay. Now, I primarily teach programming, or I primarily teach this section of Unreal, which obviously you can do using a programming language called C++. All right, but I teach this using the visual scripting method of Unreal, or in other words, it's called blueprints. All right, I am not a programmer. Obviously, if you are already a programmer, and if you are willing to kind of switch from programming language to the visual scripting way of doing programming in Unreal, it will be much more easier for you, because I have taught people, or I have taught students who have known programming, and when they come and when they switch to the visual scripts, the way of programming that happens in Unreal Engine, they find it much more easier. And in fact, they can do much more than a person who started just from scratch and is not aware of programming. He just started off with blueprints. But even people like them can actually create a full-fledged game in Unreal Engine just by using visual scripts, okay, or blueprints. So I've just made a quick like one slide which will explain to you guys what is visual scripting, or what am I referring to over here. Just give me a moment though. Okay, so my very next slide is going to be this. All right, so guys, this is what a code written in C++ would look like. All right, alphabets, slashes, equal to's. If you even forget, like a hyphen or a slash, the code doesn't work. Even though this is also pretty much evolved now, it will give you prompts, it will give you hints that you are missing something. But still, for a person with a non-programming background like myself, this way of programming is a godsend. It's really something awesome. It's for me, it's been my pathway to Unreal. Okay, like it has kind of paved a pathway for me in Unreal, and because of this, I'm so comfortable using the engine, because not just this method or this way of doing stuff, okay, is not just used in blueprints. It's also used in things like materials. It's used in things like animation that you do in Unreal. So it's kind of spread in the deepest of roots of Unreal Engine, where you can actually use this way of working, where you have nodes and you connect nodes and you build functionality. Okay, so having said this, let me quickly just do something over here. All right, and I'm going to get rid of this fire for now. All right, and also this guy, I'm just going to put him aside a bit. All right, so right now what we're doing is we are setting up a very small little interactive element inside of my game engine. So I'll just quickly tell you what I'm about to do. I'm going to add a light over here. So this particular corner looks pretty dingy, pretty dark. So what I'm going to do is when I play the game, when my player character enters this particular area, the light will turn on, a light will turn on. And when he moves away from that space, that light will turn off. Something which is very, very common, in games, especially in horror games. And let's build that. Let's build that. All right. So what the first thing which I'll need to do is obviously add a point light. Okay, one of the most basic forms of light over here. And as you can see, as soon as I drag this guy in, I see the point light and the area where it's predominantly going to affect. And since I want to turn this light on only when I enter this area, all right, I will need to set the default visibility of the light to off. All right, default means how will this light behave when the player starts the game. Okay, that's the default behavior. So I select the point light. I come over here in the details of the point light. I select visibility and I turn it off. That's it. All right. So now by default, when I'll hit the play button, when my player character will be teleported in this scene, or rather spawn in this scene, when I come over here, this light is going to be still off. All right. Now, the other thing that I need to set up is a way of the world to know that now my player has entered over here in this area. All right. Now, when I say the world, I mean the game world. All right, the game engine rather. So what I'll do is I will add in something called as a trigger volume. All right. Now, what does this trigger volume do? Okay, I'm going to just span it out a bit. Not too much, because I want to make sure that only when he enters this area, the light triggers. Okay. So what this trigger volume will do, it will tell the world that, hey, now the player is inside this trigger volume. if you want to do something, you can go ahead and do it. All right, that's it. So now it's again, as I said, this is the interactive bit. So now when my player comes over here, okay, comes inside this trigger volume, I'm going to turn on the light. And when he comes away from it or moves away from it, I'm going to turn off the light, right? As simple as that. So now for me to build this, now to build the functionality. So I have added 2 of my elements in my scene, okay, which are interactive elements, because light will turn on, turn off. And this trigger volume will also tell the world if my player is inside or outside the space. All right, so I need to go into blueprints. As I said, blueprints is the place where you will program this interactivity, okay, and this is also known as visual scripting, because instead of seeing lines of codes, you're actually seeing nodes that are joined with each other, and you can actually see what's happening in those nodes. And one really cool thing will happen, if I keep this box open at the side, and while playing the game, you'll see something really, really awesome happen with those scripts. I'll divert your attention towards that later on. Let me open the level blueprint. And over here is where I will build the functionality of this little script. Okay. And I'm going to first, since my trigger volume is already selected, what I need to do now is, so this is in the world. And if I want to build the interactivity of it, okay, or build interactive for it rather, I will need to have this element inside my blueprints as well. So keeping this selected, I'll drag and drop this over here. All right. And after having this dragged and dropped over here, I will also be taking the light, okay, and dragging and dropping that light over here. And this, I'm going to keep it at the side a bit, all right? Not really useful as of now, because I actually don't want to drag and drop this over here, because when would you do that? You would drag and drop an element when you want to destroy it, or or when you want to make it visible. Right now, I just want to overlap it. Okay, so when you're overlapping something, especially a trigger volume, and I think that trigger volume is specially made for overlaps. All right, overlaps means a player character will overlap in that area. So having my trigger volume selected, I'm going to right click over here. I'm going to add an event, a collision event, and I'm going to call it add on actor begin overlap. Okay, so pardon me, this is absolutely not useful right now. I actually wanted to drag and drop the point light. So that's what I've already done. Okay, so this is the overlap event of the trigger volume. Okay, so overlap on actor begin overlap, when it says actor, it means the player character. Okay, the player actor who's going to go over it. And once my player character is overlapping the trigger volume, then what do you want to do? All right, then you can see this light. All right, this is the light which this light on drag and drop in my scene. Okay, this light has to be in my scene. All right, so now, okay, he's overlapped. Now what? I want you guys to, or I want my blueprint to toggle the visibility of the light. That's it. So I will toggle the visibility of the point light. And this is set up, but how do I execute this? Okay, now to execute this, you have these cool little white execution wires over here. All you need to do is just connect this guy over here. All right, that's it. Now, you can say like 3/4 of my script is already done. Now, if my player character will come within or start overlapping this trigger volume, my light is going to turn on. All right, but when he comes out of it, it will not turn off. It will not toggle visibility because I need to set that up. So what will I do? Again, selecting the same trigger volume, I will right click and say add event, collision event, because I'm colliding with the trigger volume. All right, it's a completely transparent volume. It's not gonna affect the movement of the character. It does not have any kind of blocking collision, like how these pillars and how these stones have, okay, which kind of block the player's movement. All right, so add on actor, add on end overlap, collision, add on actor end overlap, and I'm going to connect this executable wire to the same toggle visibility, because now what's going to happen is when my player character walks inside this trigger volume, my light is going to toggle, and when he comes out of it, it's going to toggle off. All right, so it's going to turn on once he's in, it's going to turn off once he's out. All right, let us keep this over here. Let us increase some real estate and right click, play from here. As soon as I something seems okay. I have a couple of lights. All right. So I already had a light inside my scene. Okay, that's the reason why the light is not getting turned on, because yeah, it's point light 46. Okay, let me just delete this. Let me just delete this guy as well. And I'm going to delete this. So basically, I was kind of just going through this a bit earlier, and this is what happens when you kind of start, to over prepare stuff sometimes. So let me just quickly make sure that this is the trigger volume over here, and trigger volume, yes, trigger volume, and I'm going to add in a point light again. Okay. Add a point light somewhere over here. Let's keep it down. And again, this is kind of a quick revision for you guys. Now the visibility of this point light 3, this is point light 3. Yes, to be very, very safe right now, this is point light 3. I'm going to bring in the point light 3. Okay. And by default, the visibility is off again. I'm going to take this point light and toggle the visibility on actor begin overlap trigger volume. It's gonna toggle here and here. Fingers crossed this should work now. And let me just right click and play from here. Yeah, so I come in, light turns on, I move out. A very, very simple interactive element happening. And guys, what's happening in this section where I've actually connected these nodes, where it says simulating level blueprint, just see what happens over there. What happens is when this gets triggered, you will see these wires getting highlighted. Okay, these wires usually get highlighted when a script is running. Let me. I think there's some display issue which is happening, which is not allowing you to see that. Right? But what happens is, so like for example now, I went over the light. Okay, this will start highlighting. It starts highlighting, and when I come away from the trigger volume, it again starts highlighting, because now this is what is getting triggered. Again, if I come over here. For some reason, I think it's a display issue where I'm not able to see the real-time, visual scripting. So this is the visual scripting aspect which I was referring to you guys earlier, wherein you can actually see your scripts execute in the area where we've actually, done the programming bit. All right. So that's about it. I've given you a brief little intro regarding what Unreal is being used for, and the real-time rendering aspect of it, as well as a bit of programming know-how. And Pooja, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So are we doing good on time?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay.
So when you were showing these videos and your app, the software, now,
yeah,
how easy is it to learn Unreal?
Just join FX school. That's the best way to do it. I mean, see, everybody has an idea of, how to go online and learn stuff. But these things, even though there is stuff online, if you are mentored or if you're coached personally, hi, okay, you're here. All right, with people who know this, the learning process becomes a bit more faster and a bit more conducive, I would say. Because we already know how to fix a problem. So like I'll give you a brief example of how I learned. Okay, I learned in a manner where everybody learns, where they go online, they research, they do their stuff. But if there was a problem, I had to Google that problem, and it would then give me another set of problems for which I had to again Google, and it was a chain. All right. So rather than that, doing that, we have been doing this for a period of 5 years, and it's always good to have a mentor, have somebody who knows what he's doing to guide you, to make your learning process much more faster, much more conducive. And even when I kind of watch some tutorials are really boring. They just make me drowsy a lot. So having said that, there are also a few good ones over there as well. But then again, having somebody next to you telling you what your problem is always gonna help you learn faster and learn better. So that's my take on it.
Okay. And how many what's the basically, if a student of 12th wants to learn it now, so they'll be going for the job in like 3 years, 4 years, do you see the availability of jobs will be there?
Absolutely. Now, if we just keep aside the vast industry that is gaming, all right, and there are many gaming studios which are coming down in India as well. There are a few in Pune, there are a few in Bombay, and there are many indie gaming studios as well. Indie means independent, like a group of 10 people come together, a group of 5 people come together, make a really aesthetically good looking game. Might not be like so again, games fall into 2 categories. There are AAA games and there are indie games. Okay, AAA games are the ones like Far Cry's and Assassin's Creed and your PUBGs and all of those. And indie games are Super Meat Boy, or probably you might not have even heard of of many indie games. Now there's one studio from India who's made a game called Raji, RAJI. It's an indie game, and it's a stunning game. It's visually it's visually stunning. All right, so if we just keep that aside, if we just keep the the ample opportunities already in the gaming field aside, I talked about virtual production, and that is the future. All right, that's gonna come up in leaps and bounds in about, I would say, 2 to 3 years. Given the scenario, I can't really kind of predict the exact time where it will be kind of start getting used full-fledged. But once something comes in the film industry, now that this is gonna be here forever. And I mean, movies and games, these are the only 2 things where people are like minting money. And people are minting money, or like if you go and see a few YouTube channels, people just play games, make YouTube videos, and have millions of followers and millions of views and make money, man. Probably more than even I'm doing right now. So that is one way of looking at it. And obviously, as I said earlier, virtual production, and if you're talking about that, usme bhi movies, serials, there are so many OTT platforms. There are free ones, there are subscribed ones. There are so many channels that are only being showcased outside India, where people don't even know, but they do know how to bypass certain things and see those as well, like a channel like Hulu, right? So many channels, so many platforms. Obviously, once the pandemic ends, people will also start going full-fledged on shooting movies. So it's limitless. As I said, even in the video they said that green screen studio, green screen, blue screen ko bye bye, right? So just imagine, like, so if this thing comes into virtual production, the job opportunities are going to be limitless.
Amazing. So looking at the future of gaming industry, now what we can say is it's the next gen thing. And now even so what we have observed during the lockdown, during the pandemic situation, gaming industry grew like amazingly.
Exactly. Because what's again happening is, especially if you're doing gaming, okay, now let's just keep virtual production aside. If you are just doing gaming, you're doing everything on a computer. You're doing everything on a machine. And now what's happening is there are companies who are just taking up premises and just setting up machines or just CPUs, okay, just CPUs, and then a person like me can subscribe for a virtual machine. So I just need to have a screen at home, okay, and obviously a very basic CPU, and I can work on his virtual machine somewhere in Kalyan or Airoli or wherever that setup is. So that's VMs. Okay. The only thing you need to have over there is a really good Wi-Fi.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. So you just need to have a very stable connection, and you can use a virtual machine and start working on it. And obviously, if you have the investment, you can even invest and get your own machine, and probably then in the future, invest more and more and give that as a virtual machine to somebody else. So that's
right. Ample opportunities.
Ample. So I mean, the thing is, there is no reason as to why somebody would not want to work. Okay. अभी कोई ऐसा बोल नहीं सकता है मेरे पास मशीन नहीं है, क्या करूं? अभी ऐसे अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं जहां पे आपके पास एक खाली एक एकदम ही बेसिक i3 i5 भी होगा ना, और अच्छा इंटरनेट होगा, you will be able to connect to a virtual machine. Okay. And in that virtual machine, you just need to tell those guys, I want Unreal. Or in fact, I mean, if you are given the full rights, you can download whatever you want, because it's just like your space now. All right. Obviously, it's going to cost you. It's not, I mean, but much lesser than building up a machine, which is like, 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs. But yeah. So, I mean, as I said, there's no reason as to why somebody would not, create awesome stuff in Unreal. Because कुछ मतलब वो लोग ने कुछ बहाना बचा के रखा
ही नहीं है. So no more bahanas, a lot of reasons to work in the gaming industry.
Yes.
And the best thing is you never get tired of things that you love, and who doesn't love games?
Yeah. And this even games, even movies, this is an ever evolving field. One can never say कि मुझे सब आता है. Never. Right. Okay, isme you will find certain, like let's take Unreal Engine. Let's take like it comes out with newer versions, which are which in where they have bug fixes like almost, I would say, twice in a month. So right now they have released Unreal Engine 5, jiska I showed you a little bit of a sneak peek. Okay, that's the next gen thing. Okay, it requires RTX cards and all of that, like ray tracing cards, to have that real-time rendering, which we saw right now, to a whole new level. Okay, this is just like 10% of what those RTX cards and Unreal 5 can do if you have the appropriate machine. But having said that, apart from that, they are also continuously also giving more updates for Unreal Engine 4, which is the version which is being used right now, publicly or by people who are in this field. So they have not stopped thinking abhi UE5 aa gaya, abhi khatam, abhi UE4 pe hum log kuch nahi karenge. They're continuously working on that as well, making it better, making it like more and more user friendly, and getting people to learn. That's the aim of Epic Games. They want more and more, and it's free, right? I mean, a software like this, imagine that to be free. I mean, that is just, I mean, for me, that's, I'm sold on that. But just quickly, just one little bit free. It is free for people like us who are not actually using it to make money. But once you start using it, where you kind of launch a product and you're releasing it to the masses,
commercial level.
At a commercial level, yes. If your profits exceed, say, a certain amount of dollars, and it's like some $1 lakh or something, if it exceeds that, then about 5% of your profits is what you give to Unreal. I'm not I probably might, because I Wikipedia it. So wahan pe I think around $1 lakh likha tha. but only if you go beyond a certain limit of the commercial use, only then you are liable to pay around 5% of your profits of your revenue.
So basically, it's the royalty fee that Unreal charges. But when you are actually at a pro level, and you have crossed your profits are good.
Yes, and this will come at a stage probably when you are working with a team. So like at a student level, even for me at a teacher level, absolutely no cost of using the software, absolutely free.
Right. So it's amazing. And I'm like, this is my favorite subject, gaming, and I can talk about it I can go as long as the speaker is available. But I think we should not exceed a lot. So before we end and say thank you to Mr. Santoke, let me quickly tell you about the upcoming webinars. Tomorrow, although guys, the entire week is fixed, so every day we have webinars for you to prepare for MECAT. Along with that, we have Creative Warrior programs in regional languages, and tomorrow we have a session on script writing and screenplay using software in a Telugu language by Mr. M. Chandrasekhar. He's HOD Department of Animation in Aditya College. And this session is going to be held in association with TWAGA. Also, to prepare you for MECAT, we have workshop on 3D animation with the skills, School of Experience Illusion and Life Learning by Mr. Parminder Singh Rubal, a design mentor and animator and operations head at Skills. So 2 people are again there tomorrow to guide you the way to success. And yes, to make you prepared for your upcoming MECAT preparations. It was a wonderful session, Mr. Santoke. I really enjoyed it. And I'm sure even the audience thoroughly enjoyed it and loved it.
Great.
Thank you so much for your time.
To do this on behalf of MESC. It was a great privilege and honor, as I said earlier. All right, Pooja. Thank you. Yeah.
And guys, thank you so much. Take care. Have a good evening. We'll see you tomorrow.